Good day everyone and welcome back. This video contains spoilers for session 3 of the Aerois campaign, so I suggest you go watch that if you haven't seen it already. And without any further ado, I'm just going to get straight into it. So this session was relatively slow moving for the most part still. As I said, it's not a bad thing. I feel like it could have gone a bit faster than it did, but there were some players away, so that might have slowed it down, I don't know. They tried to flee in the opening of the session, which was great. I was looking forward to a decent chase scene. It didn't last very long, but that's fine. Not going to lie, it didn't go very well. Everything in the opening sequence went poorly for them. Kim kept rolling low. Trot also didn't roll terribly great. It was horrible. It ended up resulting in Lucius's arcane focus being taken, as well as Nova's sword. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. Taking the sword off her is absolutely brutal though, and it'll be interesting to see how they will go about getting it back if they don't manage to deal with the final encounter. And if they don't, then how long will it take to get it back, and what else can she do without it? Like, how long can she last magically without being in contact with her blade? I feel like it was taken because it acts as an arcane focus, as well as it being a sentient entity in and of itself, but we'll see. I'm actually curious as to why it is her arcane focus. I feel like it was probably just a house rule to make it a little bit easier to handle things, but she doesn't have the improved pact weapon invocation yet. At least I don't think she should, since I believe you need a pact of the blade for that, so not sure why. Kim's portrayal of Nova's reaction to the sword being taken though was amazing. It was a great character moment. I'm really happy with how that ended up going. I very much love how they're being forced into this relatively difficult survival situation as well. Some people might not enjoy that type of play, but I really like seeing where it's heading. I do, however, hope that they manage to get out of this in the next session or two. Probably over the next 3 sessions, actually. We did find out some of the origins of how Nova stumbled across her sword. As was expected, the party started speculating that the Remnant were perhaps after her on the skyship because of the sword's connection to their old spaceships. Sentry also provided a little bit of insight as to what actually might be the origin of the blade, saying that the Court of Shadows had weapons and armor that they had no idea quite how they functioned, so take that as you will. The Thunderstone pistol sounds really cool. I'm glad that they attempted to use it. I want to see what sort of things could happen when it misfires, and I feel like they're going to have a lot of fun with that later. We found that Guardians have the trance feature, since Sentry stated that she only requires 4 hours of recovery time. That's interesting. We're starting to learn a lot about them innately through just watching the show, as opposed to having to read up on things, so that's... We also learned that Aerois has no moon. That's just interesting. I wonder how tides work there. There's probably some sort of magic explanation or some other way around the lack of moon and the impact on tides and all that, so we'll see what that comes to later. Much like the start of the session, their attempt on the raid on the elf camp started off terribly. Once initiative started, things started to go in their favor. We did get to see the injury system at work once again on a critical hit this time. It resulted in a massive scar across Sentry's face, which was later retconned, but it was still cool to see it in use there. They had to end the session in mid-combat, so that's not great, but things were starting to not go in their favor at that point, so we'll see what happens next session. I really enjoyed this one. I hope that others have some interesting insights that they want to bring to the table. Cheers, and thanks for watching. And I'll see you when I see you.